breaking news for you. A sentencing just wrapped up for the former sheriff's deputy convicted of killing a woman in her Springfield, Illinois home after she called 911 for help. Sean Grayson, he was convicted of second-degree murder last October for the 2024 shooting of Sonya Massey. CBS News reporter Karen Waugh joins us from the courthouse in Springfield, Illinois. Karen, what can you tell us? How many years was he sentenced?
Yeah, Mugo, it was certainly an emotional morning in court. They spent an hour in there deliberating during that time, and ultimately the judge handed down a sentence of about 20 years in prison, plus 2 years mandatory supervised release. We are about to hear from the family, who definitely showed an outpouring of emotion. We heard sniffles and tears. They're expected to address us pretty soon in here. But Sean Grayson right now is 31 years old. If he were to serve that entire sentence, he would be about 51 by the time he is to get out. He is eligible for parole, though, so that could also cut his time in prison short. We did hear from 4 victim impact statements, including Sonya Massey's 2 kids, who are 16 and 19, her son and daughter, and then also from Sonya Massey's parents as well, who gave emotional, compelling statements. And we also heard from Sean Grayson himself, which was much of a shock to many sitting in the courtroom, but he ultimately expressed remorse and said, "There's no words I could say to take back their pain," but he admits that he was unprofessional that night, and he said he apologized. He said there was something I could do to bring her back. So amid all of those statements, that is the sentence the judge ultimately handed down: 20 years in prison with 2 years mandatory supervised release. We're going to hear from the family pretty soon, so we'll hand it back to you. Thanks, Mugo.
Okay. Karen Waugh, thank you so much for your time today. Hopefully we can see what the family have to say about the sentencing.
Meanwhile, sentencing just wrapped for the former sheriff's deputy convicted of killing a woman inside her Springfield, Illinois home after she was the one who picked up the phone and called 911 for help. You're looking at the mugshot for Sean Grayson, convicted of second-degree murder last October for that 2024 shooting of Sonya Massey. CBS News reporter Karen Waugh was in that courthouse for the sentencing.
It's been an incredibly emotional morning here inside the courthouse in Springfield, Illinois. The judge ultimately sentenced Sean Grayson to 20 years in prison plus 2 years of mandatory supervised release. This was met with a lot of cheers from the family and also from supporters outside the courthouse. We immediately started hearing chants of Sonya Massey's name, as well as Black Lives Matter. In speaking to the family immediately after the sentencing, they made it clear that these are the best case scenarios given this unfortunate circumstance. Again, they were not very happy with this conviction of second-degree murder in the first place. The family was hoping for that conviction of first-degree murder, which would have yielded a sentence of anywhere from 45 years to life in prison. But given that 20 years is the maximum sentence for second-degree murder, they are happy that the judge ultimately sentenced Grayson to this maximum sentence. Ultimately, they told us that 20 years is not enough, but again, it is the best case scenario in this instance. They ultimately said, quote, "Abuses of power will not be excused or minimized," saying that this case, this sentencing, sets a precedent for several other cases involving law enforcement and involving race relations across the country. They also said that they were super thankful for all of the support and the love from strangers across these past 2 years. We also heard from Sonya's father, who gave perhaps one of the most powerful statements in court. He ultimately said that while he's overwhelmed with joy, he does want Sean Grayson prosecuted federally after this. Take a listen at what he had to say.
I'm just overwhelmed with joy. We prayed that this would happen, that he would get the maximum sentence. But we look forward to him being prosecuted federally for violation of Sonya's civil rights. I don't care about who's running this country right now, but I'm going to let you know that as her dad, I want him prosecuted federally too, so that when his sentence is up here in the state of Illinois, he can begin his federal sentence in the federal penitentiary.
That's real shit.
Now, ultimately, speaking to several members of the Massey family, they say they don't believe justice fully exists for Sonya, but now with this maximum sentence, they hope they can put some closure to this chapter of their lives and move forward. Back to you.
Now, a judge just sentenced Sean Grayson to 20 years behind bars. The former Sangamon County Sheriff's deputy was convicted of killing Sonya Massey after she called 911 for help. Mayor Kawash is live in Springfield. You were in court, Mayor. Massey's children gave impact statements.
Yeah, very emotional morning here in court, in a packed courthouse with protesters outside, many family members here inside. But the Massey family erupted in tears and some joy as Judge Ryan Cadigan handed down a 20-year sentence to Sean Grayson. That's the maximum
all know the Sonya Massey
under
case.
his second-degree
Supposed hot water from the motherfucking
we saw
stove getting thrown on the cop that said he was going to pop her in the head.
Sonya Massey, very emotional in court, and there was a handful of family members there for Deputy Sean Grayson. Now, Grayson made the decision in court to address the family and the courtroom himself, expressing a lot of emotion and remorse that we hadn't seen up until this point. He apologized for the entire incident, admitting that he made several mistakes on the night that he shot and killed Sonya Massey in her home in July of 2024, saying he wishes that he could bring her back, while also asking the family for forgiveness in the long run.
What he said before he shot her.
Victim impact statements, two of those from Sonya's children and then both of her parents as well. Grayson looking straight at each family members as they addressed the court, at that time showing no emotion. Both of her children speaking about the permanent harm this has done to their family, their own mental health, and how they survive each day. At one point, Sonya's mother, Donna, ended her statement looking directly at Grayson, saying, quote, "Sean Grayson, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." Those are the exact words Sonya allegedly said to Grayson before he shot her three times in her home on July 6th of 24. During the trial, Grayson had told investigators he thought her, quote, rebuke meant she intended to kill him. Now 572 days since that shooting, Grayson officially sentenced to 20 years in prison, followed by 2 years of supervised release. We just heard some initial reaction from the family and attorney.
I am just overwhelmed with joy. We prayed that this would happen, that he would get the maximum sentence. But we look forward to him being prosecuted federally for violation of Sonya's civil rights. I don't care about who's running this country right now, but I'm gonna let you know that as her dad, I want him prosecuted federally too, so that when his sentence is up here in the state of Illinois, he can begin his federal sentence in the federal penitentiary.
Now, we have also seen protesters continue to gather outside the Sangamon County Courthouse both before and after the sentencing, chanting 20 years is simply not enough. The judge today also denying a motion from the defense requesting a new trial. The defense says they do plan to appeal this sentencing here in a few weeks. So Grayson now set for 20 years in prison. That'll be followed by 2 years of supervised release. We are expecting to hear more comments from the Massey family here shortly after this sentencing to learn more about their reaction. We did hear from Grayson's family. They said they have no comment at this time. Live from Sangamon County, Mayor Kawash, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Marie, this is the maximum sentence for Sean Grayson, who was found guilty again of second-degree murder last October. It is a case that has sparked national outrage and renewed scrutiny over police use of force. Now, the judge sentenced Grayson to 20 years plus 2 years of mandatory supervised release. The former deputy here is convicted of shooting and killing Sonya Massey, a 36-year-old unarmed black woman, in her home back in July of 2024. She had called 911 that day to report a prowler. Body camera video shows Grayson shooting her after he claims Massey was acting erratically. Massey's parents testified in the hearing, and her 2 teenage kids all made statements. Here's what her family said after the judge handed down that sentence.
Bob, what up?
Thankful for all the love and support that everybody has came out and shown.
These are your kids.
And I'm grateful that we got the maximum sentence that we could. 20 years is not enough, but like, they did what they could do.
And we serve an awesome God, because
Dad.
Never in the history of these United States has a law enforcement officer been given this kind of sentence, a maximum sentence of 20 years. We don't think that's enough, and the law needs to be changed here in Illinois.
Now, Sonya Massey's father, who you just heard from there, says he will now work to get Grayson federally charged, he says, for violating his daughter's civil rights. Grayson is expected to serve at least half of his 20-year sentence. Our Sharday Gray is in court in Springfield. She'll have continuing coverage on this story this afternoon. Live in the newsroom.
I said at least half a sentence.
Marie, this is the maximum sentence for Sean Grayson.
This morning, a former Illinois deputy is sentenced to 20 years for killing a black woman. Former deputy Sean Grayson was convicted of second-degree murder.
Why do I say that, yo? This cop has been sentenced to 20 years for killing a black woman. Just something about that was said.
For fatally shooting Sonya Massey in 2024. Massey, a 36-year-old single mother, had called 911 about a prowler outside her home.
The cop
The
who didn't
situation
shoot.
escalated inside her home, leading Grayson to shoot her in the face. The case sparked
said he
outrage,
was
a
gonna
$10
shoot her in
million
the face.
settlement, and reforms in police training and hiring transparency.
So they did get a
federal
settlement.
judge in Minneapolis slammed ICE for defying court orders during immigration crackdowns. Chief Judge Patrick Schultz.
This is the live.
Of these killings, right? Within seconds, that these people are domestic terrorists. But the truth is that they're not, right? And American people could see this, right? They're Montessori school teachers, they're ICU nurses, they're stay-at-home moms, their dads on their way to drop their kids off at school.
CBS News Chicago will be on in 2024 by President Trump.
Side with one turning deadly, the other sending a person to the hospital. Home was convicted for Dana Kozlov. Why prosecute both of these incidents? Plus, court continues in Downers Grove today after a pregnant mother was stabbed to death before her home was set on fire. Why prosecutors think the motive could be tied to a Facebook marketplace exchange gone wrong. Also in court, the former sheriff's deputy convicted of killing Sonya Massey will learn his fate today. We have a preview of the sentencing of Sean Grayson. Good morning, everybody. So good to be with you. I'm Marissa Perlman in for Dana Kozlov this Thursday. Thanks for joining us for yet another Friday Eve. We are checking in on your forecast this morning, and let's send it over to meteorologist Mary Kay Kleist with more on that first alert weather forecast. Good morning.
Yeah, you look cold, motherfucker. Can we get to this? Man, these motherfuckers.
Arrested on narco-terrorism and drug trafficking charges.
We had in our hemisphere a regime operated by an indicted narco-trafficker that became a base of operation for virtually every competitor, adversary, and enemy in the world.
Rubio was not able to give a timeline.
All right, we have some breaking news. For you. A sentencing just wrapped up for the former sheriff's deputy convicted of killing a woman in her Springfield, Illinois home after she called 911 for help. Sean Grayson, he was convicted of second-degree murder last October for the 2024 shooting of Sonya Massey. CBS News reporter Karen Waugh joins us from the courthouse in Springfield, Illinois. Karen, what can you tell us? How many years was he sentenced?
Yeah, Mugo, it was certainly an emotional morning in court. They spent an hour in there deliberating during that time, and ultimately the judge handed down a sentence of about 20 years in prison plus 2 years mandatory supervised release. We are about to hear from the family who definitely showed an outpouring of emotion. We heard sniffles and tears. They're expected to address us pretty soon in here. But Sean Grayson right now is 31 years old. If he were to serve that entire sentence, he would be about 51 by the time he is to get out. He is eligible for parole, though, so that could also cut his time in prison short. We did hear from 4 victim impact statements, including Sonya Massey's 2 kids, who are 16 and 19, her son and daughter.
He's only 31.
And also from Sonya Massey's parents as well, who gave emotional, compelling statements. And we also heard from Sean Grayson himself, which was much of a shock to many sitting in the courtroom, but he ultimately expressed remorse and said, "There's no words I could say to take back their pain," but he admits that he was unprofessional that night, and he said he apologized. He said there was something I could do to bring her back. So amid all of those statements, that is the sentence the judge ultimately handed down: 20 years in prison with 2 years mandatory supervised release. We're going to hear from the family pretty soon, so we'll hand it back to you. Thanks, Mugo.
Okay.
We all know this
Karen
case.
Waugh, thank you so much for your time today. Hopefully we can see what the family have to say about the sentencing.
Meanwhile, sentencing just wrapped for the former sheriff's deputy convicted of killing a woman inside her Springfield, Illinois home after she was the one who picked up the phone and called 911 for help. You're looking at the mugshot for Sean Grayson, convicted of second-degree murder last October for that 2024 shooting of Sonya Massey. CBS News reporter Karen Waugh was in that courthouse for the sentencing.
It's been an incredibly emotional morning here inside the courthouse in Springfield, Illinois. The judge ultimately sentenced Sean Grayson to 20 years in prison plus 2 years of mandatory supervised release. This was met with a lot of cheers from the family and also from supporters outside the courthouse. We immediately started hearing chants of Sonya Massey's name as well as Black Lives Matter. In speaking to the family immediately after the sentencing, they made it clear that these are the best case scenarios given this unfortunate circumstance. Again, they were not very happy with this conviction of second-degree murder in the first place. The family was hoping for that conviction of first-degree murder, which would have yielded a sentence of anywhere from 45 years to life in prison. But given that 20 years is the maximum sentence for second-degree murder, they are happy that the judge ultimately sentenced Grayson to this maximum sentence. Ultimately, they told us that 20 years is not enough, but again, it is the best case scenario in this instance. They ultimately said, quote, abuses of power will not be excused or minimized, saying that this case, this sentencing, sets a precedent for several other cases involving law enforcement and involving race relations across the country. They also said that they were super thankful for all of the support and the love from strangers across these past 2 years. We also heard from Sonya's father, who gave perhaps one of the most powerful statements in court. He ultimately said that while he's overwhelmed with joy, he does want Sean Grayson prosecuted federally after this.
Meanwhile, sentencing
I got
just...
the actual father talking, which is what I'm going to bring up now, the actual dad. Should be the actual dad saying something. Oh, no, that was the wrong whatchamacallit. Actually, I got to save it to the right playlist. It's going to take a second. That's the right playlist. As we refresh this.
Meanwhile, sentencing just wrapped for the former sheriff's deputy convicted of...
I know this shit ain't muted, yo.
What was taken from Sonya's 801 South 11th Street for this family. So we will just make a brief statement now. You all are aware that we will be having a follow-up press conference at 801 South 11th Street immediately afterwards, okay? So first and foremost, I'd like to say good morning. My name is Cliff Jones, and I am
come on air following Sean Grayson's sentence. The former Sangamon County Sheriff's deputy who shot and killed Sonya Massey in her Springfield home in 2024 now knows he'll be behind bars for 20 years. The Massey family is reacting and about to speak with the community. We're going straight to live coverage over in Springfield.
Sean Grayson represents another meaningful step towards justice for this family. While no sentence can ever restore what was taken from Sonya's family or undo the harm that was caused by this horrific act to this community, this outcome affirms a critical principle that no one is above the law, and an unlawful use of force will carry meaningful consequences. This case is about acknowledging Sonya's family, their humanity, confirming the gravity of what occurred when she was killed in her own home after calling for help, and law enforcement's responsibility to protect the public rather than place them in harm's way. The passage of Sonya Massey law, which strengthens police hiring standards here in the state of Illinois, reflects a broader recognition that failures in the system must be addressed to prevent future tragedies like this from occurring. We hope today's sentence sends a clear message that abuses of power will not be excused nor minimized. We thank the prosecution, their office, for presenting the facts and the evidence that allowed the court to reach its decision. Ben Crump Law remains committed to standing with Sonya's family as they continue to grieve and heal. At this time, we will let the family members, her immediate family members, give their immediate reactions to today's decision. We'll start with her daughter, Sonya. It's her daughter, Summer.
I'm thankful for all the love and support that everybody has came out and shown, and I'm grateful that we got the maximum sentence that we could. 20 years is not enough, but like they did what they could do. You know what I'm saying? Ain't we got too much to say.
Thank you, Summer. Now we will have a statement from, would you like to speak? Mr. Wilburn, this is Sonya's.
I just want to say that we serve an awesome God, because never in the history of these United States has a law enforcement officer been given this kind of sentence, a maximum sentence of 20 years. We don't think that's enough. And the law needs to be changed here in Illinois so that there's something, a greater value placed on second-degree murder here in the state. But right now, I'm just overwhelmed with joy. We prayed that this would happen, that he would get the maximum sentence. But we look forward to him being prosecuted federally for violation of Sonya's civil rights. I don't care about who's running this country right now, but I'm gonna let you know that as her dad, I want him prosecuted federally too, so that when his sentence is up here in the state of Illinois, he can begin his federal sentence in the federal penitentiary. Thank you.
Mr. Wilburn, he could be out in.
I'm not going to take any questions right now. I'll take questions when we get to the other place.
I just want to thank everybody for the support, even the media. Thank you for letting everybody get our story out and for believing in us. And I want to thank the judge. And I'm so grateful to get the full extent of the sentence. Thank you.
Thank you all. We appreciate you and your time. And of course, like we said, we will be.
Can you repeat the address for the press conference?
801 South 11th Street.
Okay,
Missions 1908. Within an hour, so I would say 11:30. It's 10:36 now.
Okay.
Is Summer's name spelled like Summer?
Traditional. Yes.
Again, that was the Massey family and friends addressing the community following Sean Grayson's 20-year sentence. He's the former deputy who shot and killed Sonya Massey in her Springfield home in July of 2024. Stay with WCI3 on air and online for more details throughout the day. We'll, of course, provide updates and live updates.
A judge just sentenced Sean Grayson to 20 years behind bars. The former Sangamon County Sheriff's deputy was convicted of killing Sonya Massey after she called 911 for help. Mayor Kawash is live in Springfield. You were in court, Mayor. Massey's children gave impact statements.
Yeah, very emotional morning here in court, in a packed courthouse with protesters outside, many family members here inside. But the Massey family erupted in tears and some joy as Judge Ryan Cadigan handed down a 20-year sentence to Sean Grayson. That's the maximum allowed under this second-degree murder conviction that he faced. We saw multiple rows of family members related to Sonya Massey, very emotional in court, and there was a handful of members.
I got more of the dad speaking.
For Deputy Sean Grayson. Now, Grayson made a decision in court to address the family and the courtroom himself, expressing a lot of emotion and remorse that we hadn't seen up until this point. He apologized for the entire incident, admitting that he made several mistakes on the night that he shot and killed Sonya Massey in her home in July of 2024, saying he wishes that he could bring her back, while also asking the family for forgiveness in the long run. Now, we heard 4 victim impact statements, 2 of those from Sonya's children and then both of her parents as well. Grayson looking straight at each family members as they addressed the court, at that time showing no emotion. Both of her children speaking about the permanent harm this has done to their family, their own mental health, and how they survive each day. At one point, Sonya's mother, Donna, ended her statement looking directly at Grayson, saying, quote, "Sean Grayson, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Those are the exact words Sonya allegedly said to Grayson before he shot her 3 times in her home on July 6th of 24. During the trial, Grayson had told investigators he thought her, quote, rebuke meant she intended to kill him. Now 572 days since that shooting, Grayson officially sentenced to 20 years in prison, followed by 2 years of supervised release. We just heard some initial reaction from the family and attorney.
I am just overwhelmed with joy. We prayed that this would happen, that he would get the maximum sentence, but we look forward to him being prosecuted federally for violation of Sonya's civil rights. I don't care about who's running this country right now, but I'm gonna let you know that as her dad, I want him prosecuted federally too, so that when his sentence is up here in the state of Illinois, he can begin his federal sentence in the federal penitentiary.
Now, we have also seen protesters continue to gather outside the Sangamon County Courthouse both before and after the sentencing, chanting 20 years is simply not enough. The judge today also denying a motion from the defense requesting a new trial.
51 when you get out, but they want more.
Plan to appeal this sentencing here in a few weeks. So Grayson now set for 20 years in prison. That'll be followed by 2 years of supervised release. We are expecting to hear more comments from the Massey family here shortly after this sentencing to learn more about their reaction. We did hear from Grayson's family. They said they have no comment at this time. Live from Sangamon County, Mayor Kawash, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
I heard the dad talking some more. Let me refresh this.
A judge just sentenced Sean Grayson.
Welcome back. Now to a former Illinois sheriff's deputy sentenced to 20 years in prison today for the murder of Sonya Massey. Her family, including her mother and son, calling it, quote, a just sentence for Sean Grayson.
I just want to say I am ecstatic, so happy. We did it, all of us together. It wasn't just one or two of us, all our lawyers, all our support, everybody who went out in the streets and in the rain, sleet, and snow.
Thank y'all, and I love y'all. God bless y'all. And I am happy with the verdict today of him getting 20 years. I'm glad he got the maximum sentence.
In court earlier, Grayson expressing remorse and admitted what he called, quote, terrible decisions on the night that he killed Massey after she called 911 reporting a possible intruder at her home. Joining me now for more is Sonya Massey's father, James Wilburn, and Massey's cousin, Sonya Massey. First, thank you so much for the time, and I'm sorry for your loss. But James, I want to start with you, sir. I mean, how are you feeling about today's news?
Well, of course, I'm elated with what occurred in the court today. It's interesting that during the trial, we saw no remorse. We saw no. Today, Sean Grayson asked for my forgiveness and all of our forgiveness for what he did. But I think the general feeling is that he's just sorry that he got caught up in this situation. He thought that he was above the law, and he said what he was going to do, and he did it. And we saw it, thanks to his partner, Deputy Farley, who had his body camera on from the beginning of the call. He turned the body camera on, and he gave us the correct narrative for what occurred.
You hear this shit, yo, Reese? What up?
On July 6th of 24.
Yeah. Well, Sonya, can I ask you, we talked about that body camera footage of Deputy Farley. I mean, how crucial was that in this case, and have you been able to talk with that deputy?
I have not been able to contact the deputy, but the footage was, I mean, you can't put a worth on it. It was crucial to this case. And I think that,
remember being on the panels
the truth
during this
always
controversy. Me and Mufasa did a long panel.
And I thank God for, Deputy Farley having the presence of mind to turn on his body cam.
Yeah. Well, and listen, I recognize
The nigga
that
that shot didn't have his
you,
body
your
cam
family, you're still processing this news.
That shit crazy.
But it's also not lost on me that Sonya
Luckily,
had 2 children, Summer and
the nigga
Malachi.
who
We heard from
didn't shoot had his shit on.
Malachi earlier today. But I mean, how are they processing today?
I think Summer and Malachi are doing the best they can. Their feelings are kind of all over the place. Summer has had some problems with, sometimes kids can be very cruel at school. They can make some very irresponsible, harsh comments. And she's had to deal with that. But she's handling it like a trooper. She is doing the best she can under these circumstances.
Yeah, certainly. Well, and they say that whenever you lose someone, it's never that you fully heal. You just learn to carry it better. Mr. Wilburn, I'm curious, how are you learning to carry this right now?
I don't know. I think it's just having a strong faith in God, and it's really increased my prayer life. It's caused me to pray more over my grandchildren and my other daughters that I have left now. The comfort's in knowing that I will see my daughter again, and it's when I leave this world, I know that in the next world, because she told Sean Grayson before he shot her in the face, like he said he would do, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." And I know that my daughter is resting safe in the arms of Jesus. And so I take refuge in that. The promise is sure and elect that I'll join her one day.
Yeah. James Wilburn, Sonya Massey, thank you both for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have some breaking news for you. A sentencing just wrapped up for the former sheriff's deputy convicted of killing a woman in her Springfield, Illinois home after she called 911 for help. Sean Grayson, he was convicted of second-degree murder last October for the 2024 shooting of Sonya Massey. CBS News reporter Karen Waugh joins us from the courthouse in Springfield, Illinois. Karen, what can you tell us? How many years was he sentenced?
Yeah, Mugo, it was certainly an emotional morning in court. They spent an hour in there deliberating during that time, and ultimately the judge handed down a sentence of about 20 years in prison plus 2 years mandatory supervised release. We are about to hear from the family, who definitely showed an outpouring of emotion. We heard sniffles and tears. They're expected to address us pretty soon in here. But Sean Grayson right now is 31 years old. If he were to serve that entire sentence, he would be about 51 by the time he is to get out. He is eligible for parole, though, so that could also cut his time in prison short. We did hear from 4 victim impact statements, including Sonya Massey's 2 kids, who are 16 and 19, her son and daughter, and then also from Sonya Massey's parents as well, who gave emotional, compelling statements. And we also heard from Sean Grayson himself, which was much of a shock to many sitting in the courtroom, but he ultimately expressed remorse and said, "There's no words I could say to take back their pain," but he admits that he was unprofessional that night, and he said he apologized. He said there was something I could do to bring her back. So amid all of those statements, that is the sentence the judge ultimately handed down: 20 years in prison with 2 years mandatory supervised release. We're going to hear from the family pretty soon, so we'll hand it back to you. Thanks, Mugo.
Okay. Karen Waugh, thank you so much for your time today. Hopefully we can see what the family have to say about the sentencing.
Meanwhile, sentencing just wrapped for the former sheriff's deputy convicted of killing a woman inside her Springfield, Illinois home after she was the one who picked up the phone and called 911 for help. You're looking at the mugshot for Sean Grayson, convicted of second-degree murder last October for that 2024 shooting of Sonya Massey. CBS News reporter Karen Waugh was in that courthouse for the sentencing.
It's been an incredibly emotional morning here inside the courthouse in Springfield, Illinois. The judge ultimately sentenced Sean Grayson to 20 years in prison plus 2 years of mandatory supervised release. This was met with a lot of cheers from the family and also from supporters outside the courthouse. We immediately started hearing chants of Sonya Massey's name as well as Black Lives Matter. In speaking to the family immediately after the sentencing, they made it clear that these are the best case scenarios given this unfortunate circumstance. Again, they were not very happy with this conviction of second-degree murder in the first place. The family was hoping for that conviction of first-degree murder, which would have yielded a sentence of anywhere from 45 years to life in prison. But given that 20 years is the maximum sentence for second-degree murder, they are happy that the judge ultimately sentenced Grayson to this maximum sentence. Ultimately, they told us that 20 years is not enough, but again, it is the best case scenario in this instance. They ultimately said, quote, abuses of power will not be excused or minimized, saying that this case, this sentencing, sets a precedent for several other cases involving law enforcement and involving race relations across the country. They also said that they were super thankful for all of the support and the love from strangers across these past 2 years. We also heard from Sonya's father, who gave perhaps one of the most powerful statements in court. He ultimately said that while he's overwhelmed with joy, he does want Sean Grayson prosecuted federally after this. Take a listen at what he had to say.
I am just overwhelmed with joy. We prayed that this would happen, that he would get the maximum sentence. But we look forward to him being prosecuted federally for violation of Sonya's civil rights. I don't care about who's running this country right now, but I'm going to let you know that as her dad, I want him prosecuted federally too, so that when his sentence is up here in the state of Illinois, he can begin his federal sentence in the federal penitentiary.
Now, ultimately, speaking to several members of the Massey family, they say they don't believe justice fully exists for Sonya, but now with this maximum sentence, they hope they can put some closure to this chapter of their lives and move forward. Back to you.
Now a judge just sentenced Sean Grayson to 20 years behind bars. The former Sangamon County Sheriff's deputy was convicted of killing Sonya Massey after she called 911 for help. Mayor Kawash is live in Springfield. You were in court, Mayor. Massey's children gave impact statements.
Yeah. All right, we have some breaking news for you. A sentencing just wrapped up. All right, we have some breaking news for you.
I got some news that just came in.
A sentencing just wrapped up for the former sheriff's deputy convicted of killing a woman.
They're the two latest victims of Facebook Marketplace nightmares. Cops say this pregnant woman was stabbed 70 times in a dispute over the condition of a pickup truck she and her husband had sold. Cops say after stabbing Eliza Morales and her unborn child to death, the buyer set her apartment ablaze.
This was a horrific act of violence.
Her mother-in-law spoke at a vigil outside Chicago.
You get angry, and then you get sad, and then you get angry again, and it's such a roller coaster.
And in Columbia, Missouri, a decorated Marine, Ryan Burke, was shot dead at his home during a Facebook Marketplace deal to sell his iPhone. With his last breaths, he texted his mother and sister these haunting words: "I'm dying, and I love you."
Pretty incredible that he had just that, in that moment, the calmness and discipline to say his goodbyes.
3 suspects have pleaded not guilty to murder. The Marine and the pregnant mom are just the latest victims of violence in connection with a Facebook Marketplace sale. Just 2 months ago, a homeowner selling his laptop was bear sprayed by 2 thugs who came to his house.
Yo, what?
My entire face.
What the fuck are they doing in your house? In all black? This shit don't even look right. It don't even look right. Why are they in the house in all black? What the fuck is going on again?
Suspects have pleaded not guilty to murder. The Marine and the pregnant mom are just the latest victims of violence in connection with a Facebook Marketplace sale. Just 2 months ago, a homeowner selling his laptop
in my house. Man, I go to the police station to sell that shit. Are you fucking dumb?
Was bear sprayed by 2 thugs who came to his house.
And yo, look at, he pulled out that shit out of his pocket. Ah, my fucking showing in the way, yo. What up? Look at that. You see that? You gotta look right there. Look right there. He just pulled out a cannon. Wait, my bad, I moved. Look right there. He just pulled out a cannon. You see the white hand? He just pulled that shit out of his pocket. This nigga should have a gun in his hand. Why are we in my house selling a laptop? With niggas in all black. You can't make this shit the fuck up, man. With a fucking half shiesty on. Man, are you fucking stupid? Gotta be fucking dumb, man. Niggas, man. Is it really Facebook Marketplace fault? It might have been the location. Meet at station, or you niggas is bugging. And then you niggas are dumb for doing this shit in the motherfucker house. But he thinks because he has a camera, why not do it in the house? What a dumbass. They dumb. Everybody dumb.
House.
Bear maced him. What are they doing?
Months
the
ago,
laptop?
A
Oh, the
homeowner
laptop.
selling his laptop was bear sprayed by 2.
The laptop is like, the laptop's next to the owner. And he's about to get bear maced, and then they about to fuck up the laptop probably.
Thugs who came to his house.
The laptop broke.
My entire face was pulsating red.
And this seller jumped on the getaway car after he says his Rolex was stolen in a Facebook Marketplace deal gone bad. Here's Les Trent.
So how do you stay safe? Hundreds.
This nigga jumped on the car when his Rolex was stolen. What this nigga selling laptops? This ain't Facebook Marketplace fault, yo.
By 2 thugs who came to his house.
Bear maced. Look at you.
My entire face was pulsating red.
And this seller jumped on the getaway car after he says his Rolex was stolen in a Facebook Marketplace deal gone bad. Here's Les Trent.
So how do you stay safe? Hundreds of police departments across the country have set up safe exchange zones at precincts like this one in Fanwood, New Jersey.
Yo, I can't make this shit. Y'all just heard me say this shit. I ain't see this shit. This shit like 2 hours old, yo. They got meetup spots at stations. Nigga, I'm fucking genius. I just said this shit. Oh, Barb said it too. But yo, I had no fucking idea. Meetup spots for Facebook Market, that's fucking genius.
Here's Les Trent.
So how do you stay safe? Hundreds of police departments across the country have set up safe exchange zones at precincts like this one in Fanwood, New Jersey.
This is monitored by our surveillance cameras 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it is recorded.
Another tip, meet in a public place during the day.
I would never go into someone's house, and likewise, I wouldn't want a stranger coming into my house to engage in this type of transaction.
Facebook Marketplace does post safety tips, including the recommendation to meet in public places.
Yo, I had no idea. I just talked that shit up, man. Nigga Barb said we got him. No man can't even come by my house. Yeah, nigga, because you live in the fucking Delta of Mississippi, nigga.
Philadelphia EMT is accused of stealing on the job from a deceased woman.
You hear that
the victim's
shit?
family says it was all caught on video.
Gary Robb is now facing multiple charges in connection with the alleged theft, and the fire department says he's no longer employed by them. Our Jennifer Lee is live at the Philadelphia District Attorney's office, and Jen, this happened a few months ago. Why is the family coming forward now?
Yes, the family of Nanette Santelli, they have been heartbroken, and they actually tell me they had a conversation recently with the man accused at a court appearance, and the family claims instead of showing any sign of remorse, he said it was a victimless crime.
If you know anything about a South Philly Italian family, your aunts are your mom.
A family still in mourning over the loss of Nanette Santilli. The 72-year-old who died in October was a beloved mother, grandmother, sister, and aunt. Her nephew, Vincent Giorgio, identified her body after she died of natural causes in her Center City condo. He says the family remains traumatized after Ring surveillance video appears to show a Philadelphia EMT stealing something out of her wallet. Prosecutors say it was a couple $100s in cash.
It's a betrayal of trust, especially to the family. It was too smooth, it was too easy, very nonchalant.
You got something
And
on that
then
Luigi Mangione.
decided to keep saying to the family who were sitting outside crying, myself in there, that he's very sorry for our loss and how apologetic he was.
Philadelphia police identified the EMT as Gary Robb and say he was arrested in December and now faces 3 misdemeanor charges, including theft. The fire department declined to comment but confirms the 41-year-old is no longer a member of the department. Giorgio also shared
Stealing
this
from a
video
fucking-
right before the alleged theft, where Robb acknowledges there's a camera in the room.
The Ring camera. That's what's blowing us. That's what's blowing her up. He stared at the camera. He told his counterparts there's a camera, and can still rob someone and
still
think
took the
that he did
cash.
nothing wrong. That's a problem.
According to court filings, Robb does not currently have a lawyer. We stopped by his Philadelphia home, but no one came to the door. Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner says the allegations are extremely disturbing since the community expects EMTs to help, not hurt.
Not steal cash.
Use of a position of trust. He's
Fucking
in the
scumbag.
home because of his status as an EMT for the fire department, whose salary is paid by us. And the allegations are that he is taking money that belongs to the deceased and to her family.
If convicted, the DA says Robb can face a sentence of 3 to 6 years in jail. And while he wouldn't be barred from working as a first responder, the DA hopes public agencies take due diligence before hiring.
I would like to think that
I
if
guess
these
not.
allegations are confirmed and if this defendant is
EMT,
convicted, I would
stealing
like
from
to
old
think that
ladies'
he
cash.
does
You
not
got a
have
camera right
another
there?
opportunity
All
to
right.
be in a position of trust.
Fucking
We're just
scumbag.
constantly reliving this, and I think until
You got
this
a camera right there?
situation
Right there?
ends,
Let me run your pockets.
it's just going to constantly be a
Fucking
reminder.
scumbag.
Now, Robb, he is due back in court next Thursday. Once we hear from Robb about these allegations, we'll make sure to get his response to you. Jason?
All right, Jennifer Lee, thank you very much.
An update after a warrant was issued for professional boxer Gervonta Davis.
He has been booked again in jail, facing charges in connection with the domestic violence incident. I want to go now to Local 10's Hannah Yushivi. She is.
An update after a warrant was issued for professional boxer Gervonta Davis.
He has been booked again in jail, facing charges in connection with the domestic violence incident. I want to go now to Local 10's Hannah Yushivi. She is live outside the jail right there in West Miami-Dade. Hannah, good afternoon.
Gervonta Davis woke up behind bars here today after Miami Gardens police officers arrested him yesterday. They had been searching for him for months, and according to police officers, he allegedly attacked one of his ex-girlfriends inside a strip club this past October. 31-year-old Gervonta Davis was arrested yesterday. Officers say the woman he allegedly attacked was his former partner and was working in the VIP section of a strip club when Davis grabbed her by the hair and throat, attempting to force her towards a parking lot. In a civil lawsuit, she's seeking $50,000 in damages, saying this was not the first time the professional boxer abused or threatened her. Police say for the woman, this was the incident that pushed her to finally come forward.
The victim reported sustaining minor injuries, including visible bruising to her left arm at the time the report was made, and she sought medical attention.
The woman told investigators their relationship had ended about a month before that incident happened. After months of investigation, Miami Gardens police officers, along with the help of the U.S. Marshals, arrested Davis yesterday evening at Miami's Design District, just as he was walking out of a store. This is not the first time Davis is arrested. This most recent video shows him bonding out of jail, surrounded by correctional officers, granting him some sort of special treatment nobody else, to our knowledge, has received at the jail after submitting bond. For this new crime, he's now facing these charges.
Battery, false imprisonment, and attempted kidnapping.
Earlier today, Davis faced a judge.
Mr. Davis, you are ordered to stay away from the alleged victim. Also, no contact with the victim either directly, indirectly, in person, in writing, by telephone, or through third parties. Do you understand the stay away order, sir?
Yes.
We're expecting the professional boxer to bond out of jail any moment now. He's set to pay $8,500. That judge also telling him that he can't go back to that strip club where this incident happened. That's the very latest from TGK in West Miami-Dade. Hannah Yashivi, Local 10 News.
A mother is grieving the loss of her 3 young sons after they fell through the ice on a pond.
It happened yesterday in Bonham, about 65 miles northeast of Dallas in Fannin County. Fox 4's Vanya Castillo has more from the mother who jumped in to try to save her children.
3 fucking boys.
Well, the 3 brothers tried saving each other after one of them fell into this pond right behind me, which is on private property. Now, I spoke to their mom, who says their heroic actions are exactly what she expected from them.
How do you go from having 6 kids to 3?
Damn.
I don't know
fucking
how you do that. I guess I gotta figure it out, though.
A quiet house surrounded by a field of fresh fallen snow. The steady laughter of Cheyenne Hangman and her kids playing filled the air.
We were actually just supposed to go, like, sledding on a cardboard box somewhere on a hill or something. But that didn't happen.
Instead, her 3 boys ventured off across the field.
I told them to stay off the ice, stay away from the pond.
In a matter of seconds, their lives would be changed forever. 6-year-old Howard went onto the thin ice and fell in. His 2 older brothers, 8-year-old Caleb and 9-year-old AJ, rushed into the water to save him.
I expected the other one to try to save the other one and the other one to go after the other one. Yeah, I expected that.
Hangman says her daughter ran to her screaming that her brothers were drowning.
I thought I was going to make it all the way to him.
She says it took her less than 30 seconds to get to them, but as soon as she went onto the ice, it broke beneath her as well.
The ice was breaking as I would set them up there, and I was just like, I couldn't win. I couldn't win that battle. I was 3 of them, 1 of me.
John Ramsey, the Bonham High School football coach, was nearby and heard screams for help. He was able to save the mom. Any person in that situation would have done the same thing, he told us. I was simply close enough to help in a moment of crisis. Hangman says that as soon as she came out of the water, she knew.
I knew that they were already gone. I knew that they were already gone, and I needed to get myself together for the other 2 that watched the whole thing.
Through grief, she's holding on to the memories of her boys.
EJ he wanted to be a football star. He wanted to play football. That's all he wanted to do. And Caleb, he was just like
3 boys.
A soul you would want to be around, happy all the time, singing, dancing, his hair just flapping everywhere. And Howard was just, I can describe him as goofy. He liked to make people laugh.
The brothers that fought, loved, and died for each other.
They were mean to each other, but once something happens, goes down, they're right there for each other.
Remembering the moments they had together.
That day, I was just kissing Caleb on his cheeks, and he was just sitting there smiling, like I was just kissing him for no reason. And he was just like, what are you doing? Like,
and the ones she wishes for.
Because I didn't get to kiss the other ones. Not that day.
The Fannin County Sheriff's Office is investigating, and this is part of a standard procedure. Now, the family is trying to raise money to help lay these 3 beautiful boys to rest. If you would like to help, you can head to our website at fox4news.com. Vanya Castillo, Fox 4 News.
Tonight, a Chicago man is going to sleep in his own bed.
This is a good case here, man. Antonio Porter getting released from jail.
The first time in more than 2 decades. Antonio Porter walked out of a jail tonight, a free man, at least for now. WGN's Brona Tumulty has more this evening.
Antonio Porter taking a brief moment today to look back at a life he hopes to leave behind forever. His lawyer, the first, with a much-needed hug.
It feels good to be out. It feels good to be free.
You're a free man. You're heading home.
I know.
How are you feeling?
I feel good about this.
A feeling 20 years in the making for Porter, his family, and in particular, his mother.
I know how she feels. She feel good.
I've been fighting a long time for my son. I've been really fighting for him.
Rosemary Cade spoke with us at court Monday, moments after a judge vacated her son's murder conviction from 2003, when he received a 71-year sentence following the death of 28-year-old Lamont Harrison, killed during a dice game outside an elementary school in Grand Crossing the previous year. Activists say a flawed trial and coerced testimony incorrectly connected the dots, stealing years from Porter's life and from his loved ones as well.
He's not only just Rosemary Cade's son, but he's someone's father. He's someone's grandfather, and he missed out on a lot of things because of corruption, because of cruelness.
His family couldn't be here at the exact moment he walked out, as we're told it wasn't clear when that would be.
They've been here for on and off for 36 hours and they gave us no warning of when he would be released. The Cook County Jail on, -5 right now, they release him without any notice. It is inhumane, and the sheriff's department should answer to it. It's awful.
And his ordeal is far from over, because the state's attorney's office will now decide whether to move forward with a new trial, meaning Porter's release comes with terms and conditions, including an ankle monitor.
It's the best feeling ever, but I'm still not free. I have an ankle bracelet on. I still have an ankle bracelet on. They still don't believe in my freedom, so.
For now, though, he's just glad to finally be heading home.
I think he's really excited to be with family and people who care about him. The support from the family is really important. They're all showing up now.
I could read something from the case real quick. If y'all don't even know, in Chicago, Antonio Porter has been released after prosecutors dropped the murder charges against him. Officials said that after reviewing the evidence, they determined the case could not meet the legal standard required to proceed to trial. The decision does not mean the crime did not occur. It means prosecutors concluded they could not prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt in court because of those evidentiary issues. The state declined to move forward and Porter was released from custody. Authorities have indicated that investigation may remain open if new evidence becomes available. The case that has drawn attention to the high burden of proof in homicide prosecutions and ongoing concerns around charging decisions and due process in Chicago. You know what I mean? So
he's ready to move on, start his life again.
The state's attorney's office in a statement saying they are committed to bringing charges and upholding public safety where evidence meets legal standards. Porter is due back in court on the 10th of March. We're at the Cook County Jail tonight. Brona Tumulty, WGN News.
Family members identifying the 19-year-old killed outside a grocery store in southwest Philadelphia less than 24 hours ago as Russell Williams Jr. Investigators believe he was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time and shot by another 19-year-old who police say stole a bicycle from a SEPTA bus moments before gunning down Russell. Our Kelly Rule reports.
Damn.
Russell's parents tell me he was their only child. They say they are devastated and angry because they feel Russell was doing all the right things and they as parents were doing all the right things, and he still senselessly had his life taken away.
He loved everybody. He would brighten up this room if you seen him.
A smile.
There wasn't nobody that didn't know him in Southwest Philly.
19-year-old Russell Williams Jr. was on his way home from Allstate Career School just before 10 last night. He was studying for his commercial driver's license, all part of his big plans, according to his parents, when they say his life was ripped from him for no reason.
We live life to, raise our kids up the right way and to do the right things, and he literally do the right thing, and you still take that person from you for doing the right thing.
In surveillance video provided to Fox 29, you can see Russell walking with his backpack on down Dix Avenue towards 66th Street when a man on a bike comes up behind him. He gets off the bike. We are pausing the video before it shows him suddenly shoot Russell. Damn. You can see just how quickly this happens in video from a different angle. Word. This camera captures the shooter immediately running off after the shooting.
The 4 gunshots. I look out the window, and then you finally hear the police
ran
coming
down
up.
on him and shit.
And I didn't know what was going on.
That boy walked up on my son. My son looked at this boy in his face, and he shot him up.
Something went down at that school.
It don't matter.
Somebody had an exchange of words.
Philadelphia police say they have a 19-year-old man in custody. They believe he stole this bike moments earlier from a bike rack on the front of a SEPTA bus at 64th Street and Lindbergh Boulevard. Then, after the deadly shooting, police say the shooter ditched the bike and robbed a second individual of an electric bicycle in the area. The investigation led officers to the Wawa at 84th Street and Bartram Avenue, where they say they took the 19-year-old into custody and found a gun on him.
He took somebody's greed. For nothing.
Russell's mom says this is their family's second senseless tragedy. Her younger brother, Lashad Merritt, was killed in the July 2023 Kingsessing mass shooting. She says her son shared his location with her at all times, and last night she traced him to the hospital, never imagining she would get the news she did.
You can tell him to be careful. I literally told him before he walked out the door, I said, be careful, I love you. And you can tell him that, but it just don't matter.
Police say this is still an active investigation. If you have any information, they ask that you call
Artifacts,
215-686-TIPS. Reporting outside police headquarters, I'm Kelly Rule, Fox 29.
I didn't even peep you, man. I didn't even peep you, dog.
Federal agents.
Damn, I don't know how I missed that shit. Yo, what up, Reese?
What up, yo? You can hear me?
Man, you should be on stage. Matter of fact, I gotta, yo, give me a second, man. Should have been took care of this shit. Yeah. I don't know if it's me, but I can't hear you, yo.
You can hear me now? I'm gonna come back in. I'm gonna go out and come back in.
I see your shit moving. Is it me? Give me a second, yo. I got the fucking site muted. Hello? Yo, you hear me?
Yo, 1, 2, 3.
Right. Yeah, that's my dumb ass, man. I be having the site muted and shit. Yeah, what's good?
I'm in here now?
Yeah, you good. Yeah, you up top. Right. You don't see yourself?
Oh, what's up? Damn, this is a new format. I'm high as shit. I'm looking down the bottom for me and shit.
Nigga, I'm all over the place with this shit.
That's my girl, Harris Faulkner, right there.
Well, yo, I'm about to say this must have went to the next news, John.
In Minneapolis continue to take off the streets the worst of the worst. Today,
I did add this. It was this is about. Yeah, I gotta refresh this shit. Yeah, this is about hundreds of criminal migrants arrested in a red state crackdown.
Wow.
DHS announced the arrest of 5 violent illegal immigrants over just a 24-hour period. They include 2 accused sex acts with minors, 1 with an assault conviction, and another convicted of assault with a deadly weapon. President Trump praised the operations in Minneapolis and other cities.
We have brought down crime very substantially in Minnesota. We've taken out thousands of hard criminals, hardened, vicious, horrible criminals. New Orleans, Louisiana, I was asked by the governor of Louisiana to help them with New Orleans. It was a disaster, and crime is down 54% in about 3 weeks.
The operation in Louisiana that the president was talking about is called Catahoula Crunch. And since early December, agents in and around New Orleans have continued arresting nearly 300 criminal illegal immigrants. Republican Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry is in focus. And Governor, it is great to see you. The last time we were together on that HBCU campus in Southern University. So it's good to see you today. Talk to me about what is working on the ground as you work with ICE.
Well, look, first, Harris, we'd love to have you back on Southern's campus and love to have you dancing with the band again. So, again, thank you for having me. Look, again, when ICE agents came to Louisiana, we made it clear that we wanted to ensure that we took criminal illegal aliens off of our streets. I mean, we have seen a reduction in crime. A lot of that has been because of the resources and assets and the cooperation that President Trump and Secretary Noem have given to the state of Louisiana. And it is real. It is tangible. Our people are safer today because of those operations. What's going on in Minneapolis is really a dereliction of duty by those government officials who are basically stoking this type of protest. Remember, the president, Secretary Noem, those ICE agents are simply following the law. Those are laws that were passed by Congress. Those are immigration laws. It's been decades of,
that's the New Orleans
basically
governor.
Borderless, open borders that Democrats have allowed these people to pour in. And the president said it time and time again. The people that were coming over the border, a lot of them were very violent. They were emptying our jails. We had child predators. We had a lot of drug trafficking going on, human trafficking, and the Democrats just sat there, just mums the word, did not care, dog whistling them in. And then they wreak havoc on our cities,
there's a lot of
and
Mexicans
we have to do
illegal in
something about it.
New
But in
Orleans.
Louisiana, it's a safer state today than it was before.
Look, obviously, there are pockets in the country of Democrat-led areas as well. You've got Houston, Boston, where they are. Well, look at Mayor Bowser in Washington, D.C. early on in this process, cooperated with ICE. I thought this was an interesting development. Apparently, Attorney General from Minnesota, Keith Ellison, has told Tom Homan the borders are now, and basically just signaling that now entities can and may begin giving notice to ICE should they be housing and then letting go any wanted criminal illegal aliens. That seems to be a shift, but that's how the law works. So are they no longer a sanctuary city would be what I would ask.
Get rid of illegals the whole term.
Look, if Keith is going to do that,
It'll take more than one term.
Kudos out, big shout out to him as well, because again, that's
It'd
just
be funny if
common
this shit
sense.
just stopped
Why
the next
would you
term.
want to allow violent
You hear about the election
criminals
fraud shit in
on
Fulton County?
your street? I mean, why would you do
Yo,
that?
I
that's the whole
reported on that
reason we have
yesterday,
bail.
nigga.
That's the whole reason we have a criminal
I
justice
live
system.
streamed that shit
But if you
yesterday.
come into
Yo.
the country, if you came into the country illegally and then you
Right
commit
when that
violent
shit
acts,
dropped.
that gives us the ability to
And I
immediately
said, you know what
deport
that's
you and
yo,
get
let me
you
pause this shit.
completely not.
You know what I said that shit is from? Man,
What?
Man, what the fuck am I talking about? I need to bring that shit back up. I should have my fucking stream saved. Yo, I said that shit is from Yo, Trump getting back all the niggas that was in that courtroom.
He's lining everybody up.
What was his name? Willie Mae, Willie Fannie Willis, her, fucking with another nigga. I mean, yo, he coming for everybody, and I said that in yesterday's live stream. Like, yo, he gonna get everybody.
Yo, everybody who fucked with him is falling, dog.
And it was all niggas.
You don't even know where Barack Obama is. You don't know where Biden is. You don't know where you don't know where nobody at.
All niggas. They gonna get all them votes. They cleaned house. FBI director came down. It's a wrap. Shit.
Only off of our street, but out of our
And these
country as
illegals?
well, and that keeps people safe.
There is new Fox polling, and I want to get your reaction to this. It
Niggas
shows
should be out of work,
52% of
jobs and all
voters
that.
overall approve of President Trump's job performance on border security.
I bet.
Looking party by party, 85% and 89% of Republicans approve of Trump's job on immigration and border security.
Yo, pause
So
it.
he's doing well there. But when you look at the majority...
Put them numbers back.
What?
On percentages they just showed.
89%
approval.
Yo, how does it make you feel? Immigration. 91% of the people you know want women and children to be violated.
I mean, I don't know anything that has a clean way of getting things done.
Dog, if you're for illegal immigration, you want children to get hurt. Everyone understands what happens when you open the gates. They know this. Everybody, Sharon knows it, Freezy knows it, Venus knows it. All them woke people, they all know it, bro. They try to spin things the same way the news does, and that's evil and sinister. These are children we talking about. Your political battles don't matter no more now. When kids come into the picture, right?
How do you think it should be done?
Yo, if somebody's bothering kids and women, get them out of here. Get them out of here. And if a soccer mom is hiding them, get her out of here.
So if you make it here safe, you should be good?
If you go through the legal process, fuck with us.
Oh, yeah, these niggas ain't going through the legal process. You know that shit. You know that shit. I mean, a 1 out of 200-300 is gonna get scraped up and they was legal. I mean, I don't know no clean job getting done. I know niggas ain't been in the news lately, except for the usual shit.
Yo, the way the news is lying about this whole situation, all them people should be charged with federal crimes, but they not.
What, Minneapolis or everywhere?
Everywhere. They lying everywhere, dog. It's sinister. Sad, man. I don't understand what's going on, fam. I don't know what they're trying to do.
They cleaning up. I mean, that shit ain't supposed to look good. Who you think was going to do it? I think niggas is going to get more jobs and more shit might happen. I mean,
if I wasn't an ex-felon, dog, I would join ICE and get that check quick as hell. Quick.
Hold up, you're going to be doing the violating. Come on, nigga.
Of Republicans approve of Trump's job on
help
immigration and border security. So he's doing
gonna
well
get no
there.
desk job.
When
They're
you
gonna
look
put you
at
to
the
work.
majority, the number is much lower. How do you account for that?
Yeah, again, I just think it's a lot of propaganda. I mean, I'd like to go and ask those same Democrats if they like their communities to be dangerous or they want their streets safe. Do they want their children to be able to walk to school, or do they want to have to worry if they send them on the sidewalks that unfortunate, violent things are going to happen to them? And I would like to see what that response is. Look, when you lean in and you make public safety the #1 priority, all Americans benefit. I mean, it is something that transcends across party lines. I still have not met anyone out there that likes to invite criminals into their homes.
Have you seen any pushback in your state early on in this? I mean, things are working now. So as you said, no, we cooperated. But what about in the beginning? Because it seems, you know, when you look at Minneapolis, then you have the church that was hit by protesters just next door in St. Paul. Is it just Minnesota?
No.
Well, I can tell you, at the beginning, there was a little bit of uneasiness, but we worked through it with the local officials, irrespective of their party affiliation. We made sure that everyone understood what the laws were, what the operations were, why they were here, and then we leaned in. We also ensured that the state police worked with the ICE agents, local law enforcement as well, to make sure that we didn't have the unrest that's going on in Minneapolis. And we certainly didn't go out there and basically incite it or encourage it. In fact, we did the opposite. We said, if you're going to act like that, I can tell you this, if someone would have kicked an ICE vehicle in New Orleans when they were there, they were going to jail immediately.
Governor Landry, great to have you today. Thank you for
this
being
ain't
in
Minneapolis, yo.
Thank you.
This ain't Minneapolis.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News.
I mean, what better way to say it? He's New Orleans, like, man, this ain't Minneapolis, man. Fuck you up. Oh, you heard about that escape for that Mangione? Somebody trying to like, well, here it is.
The case against the man accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson may have just taken a bizarre turn. And that is because federal authorities say someone may have tried to get Luigi Mangione out of jail. According to a new criminal complaint, a man allegedly walked into a Brooklyn federal jail, claimed he was an FBI agent, and said he had paperwork signed by a judge to release an inmate. Now, based on certain circumstances, it is believed to be Mangione. How did he think that this would work if the allegations are true? Was he close to actually pulling this off? And what does it mean for Mangione's case? We're going to break it all down with a prison consultant who knows the system inside and out. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. The targeted execution-style alleged murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on a Midtown Manhattan street was already a shocking crime. One of the most shocking crimes we've covered in recent memory. And the accused killer, Luigi Mangione, was captured 5 days later, has been locked up ever since, awaiting 2 massive trials, a state trial, a federal trial. But now, we have just learned of what appears to be yet another bizarre moment in this saga. Now, we can't say for sure it's connected to Mangione, but when you connect some of the dots, I think it might be a fair assumption. So federal authorities are now claiming that a man from Minnesota walked right up to the federal jail in Brooklyn last night where Mangione is being housed and tried to pose as an FBI agent. He apparently claimed he had a judge's order to release a specific inmate, and law enforcement, if you're reading between the lines, may be saying that that inmate was Mangione. Now, when guards asked for his credentials, he apparently showed a Minnesota driver's license. In his bag that was searched by authorities, not official paperwork, but a barbecue fork and what looked like a pizza cutter.
What?
Now, if all of this is true, how on earth did he think that this would work? What does that say about the security? I mean, did he get close? Really? What was the plan here? And by the way, what happens next for Mangione? I mean, is he due back in court tomorrow? We're going to break down this stunning new criminal complaint line by line. We're also going to be talking with prison consultant Justin Paperny, who knows this system inside and out, about how an attempt like this can even happen. But for viewers just joining us, really very quick recap of the case at the heart of all this. So Luigi Mangione is accused of the point-blank fatal shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside of a Midtown Manhattan hotel in December of 2024. And authorities allege it was a meticulously planned, targeted attack. Mangione was arrested days later in Pennsylvania. He's been held without bail ever since. And remember, he is facing not one, but two major trials, one in state court for murder and another in federal court in the Southern District of New York, where prosecutors are seeking the death penalty, or trying to. It is a high-stakes, high-profile case that we have been following very, very closely. And that is what makes this new development just so...
What happened?
Luigi referred to as a specific inmate in custody. However, a law enforcement source directly involved in the case has confirmed to multiple news outlets that the inmate in question was indeed Luigi Mangione. Let's talk about it. All right, joining us to break all of this down, prison consultant, friend of the show, Justin Paperny. Justin, thank you so much for coming on. It's breaking news. Got you on so quickly. Have you heard of something like this before? I mean, it sounds like something out of a movie, but I do wonder, how easy is it for somebody to maybe pose as an agent, as a member of law enforcement, say the right things, get somebody out of jail?
Well, the first part is right. This is exactly like what we would see sensationalized on television. It was successful once in the movie Catch Me If You Can, where Leonardo played Frank Abagnale as a pilot and he flew the plane. That was a very long time ago. But people see something on television, like someone breaks into a prison or they walk in, they give a dramatic speech and they're going to release the person. They're just delusional. And I think when someone is in crisis and they're spiraling, they're looking for meaning. And if they're a fan of someone, they think they're a hero. So it's very easy to play the part and put on the costume. But when you have a prison that is trained for deception and these sorts of things, knowing there is a protocol to release someone, in about 17 seconds, they realize we're dealing with someone who isn't stable. And they did the right thing by finding out if he had any weapons. He did, and they arrested him. So it's easy to dress the part, nearly impossible to execute it.
Can you elaborate on that, what the protocol is in place? If there was to be a release that wasn't in the news, right? There wasn't an appeal or a habeas motion where the conviction was overturned. They have to be immediately released. If there was some other reason for an agent to go in there and take somebody out pursuant to a court order, how much advance notice does a jail, a prison get? What is the protocol as far as you know?
So there's a chance the prison can find out the day before. That's happened to people in our community. A case manager calls you in and said, you're going out tomorrow, you're getting released, you're getting transferred. But there is a process in place that could take weeks or even months. A writ goes to a judge, the judge signs it, it goes to the marshals, they coordinate with the Federal Bureau of Prisons, the Bureau of Prisons notifies the warden, there's paperwork along the way, there's checks and balances. Even when I surrendered to a minimum security camp a long time ago, I had 9 separate people ask me 9 times my name, my Bureau of Prisons number, and I was going to a camp. So one thing they have is a process that they follow, and it's the reason they knew in about 6 seconds this wasn't legitimate, and they did the right thing by making sure he did not cause harm to anyone, including himself.
Is there a possibility he could have fooled them? Maybe not him specifically, but I have to be completely honest about this. Again, the court paperwork doesn't officially say that he was trying to release Mangione, but based on some of the other circumstances, let's assume that for a moment. given the high-profile nature of this case, given the fact that there are a lot of people who have support for Mangione, are in his camp, there's a ton of money being raised, I gotta say I'm not surprised that this happened. I actually wonder if this is going to be the last time we see something like this. But could there have been a set of circumstances where if somebody had the right documentation, said the right things, was a really good, con artist? Now, let's be clear, this individual is innocent until proven guilty. Is the system foolproof? Could there have been a scenario where he could have been busted out, and then what?
I don't think there's any scenario unless it was an inside job, unless this person is coordinating with someone who works inside of the institution to enable and make it happen. And again, that's right out of television as well. So given the problems at MDC over the years, starting with Epstein and the accusations these guards weren't properly doing their job, it's heightened alert times a million inside of that prison, especially when you have so many high-profile prisoners coming in and out of there. So in no world would he have been successful. And sometimes, like, when this person is clearly going through some crisis, if true, and sometimes when going through crisis, the last thing you want to do is move like slowly and deliberately to improve your life. You make really quick, short-sighted action. So 10 or 30 minutes of his life could lead to a very lengthy federal prison sentence. I wish he thought it through, and if true, I hope he gets help that he desperately needs, because had he discussed this with anyone rational, they'd have said, dude, stop immediately, please. You will never be successful.
The trial hasn't even started yet. Does this give you concern about what we can expect moving forward as this case advances, what the security might be, whether it's at a jail, whether it's at a prison, whether it's at a courthouse? Never seen a case like this before in my life. I really
it's a little bit. Yeah, it's a little like the Batman. Some people are trying to break out the Joker, with all due respect. I mean, it is not normal. And what happens is the longer he's in custody, people who view him as a hero and they want to help him, they view him, this is unfair, this is unjust, he should be free, he should have a bracelet on, we've raised enough money for bond, he should be in the community, other people accused of similar crimes are. So the longer that narrative hardens, the more people become emboldened to try to help him. So you can expect when the trial begins for there to be hundreds, if not thousands of people outside the courthouse. And the closer we get to some verdict, the worse it's only going to get. Now, in federal cases, there will not be cameras inside of the courtroom. I wish there were, because you could see full transparency in what's said on both sides. And when you can't hear it, you hear it from other people. And then that narrative will harden and move on in time. So expect it to build the closer to the trial.
I want to go through this criminal complaint line by line, because I think it's really important. So this is the document where the agent lays out exactly what he claims happened. It is a wild read, but the government story starts with a specific time and a specific place. Quote, on or about January 28th, 2026, at approximately 1850 hours, the defendant, Mark Anderson, approached the intake area inside the MDC and claimed to uniformed members of the Federal Bureau of Prisons, BOP, that he was an FBI agent in possession of paperwork signed by a judge authorizing the release of a specific inmate who was in custody at the MDC. Okay, so 6:50 p.m. last night, the intake area, the front door of the jail, he walks up, basically says, I'm an FBI agent. Incredible. Now, of course, the guards, they ask for proof. And here's what the complaint says. When asked to provide federal credentials, the defendant, Mark Anderson, displayed his Minnesota driver's license to the BOP officers and then claimed to be in possession of weapons. Okay. Anderson also displayed and threw at the BOP officers numerous documents. I have reviewed those papers, and they appear to be related to filing claims against the United States Department of Justice. Justin, I gotta say, there's a part of it where he goes in with this level of authority, but he had nothing. I mean, if the allegation's true, nothing to back it up, and shows kind of that erratic behavior. It was nothing even about, it seems, about that inmate.
Yeah, to me, it shows that he spent about 15 seconds planning this. An ID grabs, I think I read it was like a barbecue pitchfork or something akin to that.
Let me get that. Let me throw that. Quote, Mark Anderson was detained by members of the BOP, and a backpack he possessed was searched to reveal a large barbecue-type fork and a round steel blade. Tell me, this kind of pizza cutter. These weapons. What do you think? What was the plan?
There was no plan. I think he's not thinking clearly. A lot of television where you presume because you have the costume on and you have an ID and you have a letter from a judge, they're going to release you. It's like, I'd love to go to the bank this afternoon and say a judge or someone signed off that my mortgage is paid, wipe it clean. They'd laugh me out of the bank or arrest me. He just didn't think it through. And to think that you could, walk in with weapons like that in a letter, it's kind of like thinking you can rob, Fort Knox with a plastic sword. There was just no thinking through it. And now what they'll do, what a prosecutor will do, they will go through every alleged offense. So it's like doctoring documents, a weapon. And before you know it, it could be a long time in prison. And if guilty and there are health issues, I pray he gets treatment he needs. But what we have seen in the past is, and we've covered this before, we've covered it where a guard may sleep with an inmate, then it happens again and again. We don't want to see that copycat where it emboldens a person to say, this is where he did it wrong. I'm going to learn from his mistakes and I'm going to correct what he did wrong and I'm going to do it right and get him out of here. The first tends to lead to another. And that's something that the authorities need to look out for and be alert.
Now, we have learned from new reporting that there's a hearing expected tomorrow in Mangione's federal case. We believe the judge is expected to rule soon on whether it's going to be a death penalty case. The Manhattan DA's office has asked the judge to set a July 1st trial date. They say they're ready. Jury selection in the federal case already scheduled for September 8th, although the U.S. Attorney's Office has said that it expects the state case to proceed first. How complicated do you expect this to be in terms of his multiple trials, perhaps multiple phases? What's your take on it?
My take is that, of course, it's very complicated. And if they pursue the death penalty, it's because they're 100% convinced they're going to get a conviction for that. And it aligns with the messaging right now, I think, of this administration of holding people committing violent crimes to justice. And in this instance, they believe by pushing it that it could require the death penalty. So if they're pushing for it, they think they are going to be successful. And again, that will upset people for myriad reasons. We'll see. But it's an incredibly complex case, and it continues to get more attention over time. And to your point earlier, as trial approaches, it's going to be very popular. A lot of attention.
Do you think events like this will influence that decision or influence in the way, maybe even the way the trials are held, maybe the security protocols? I'd have to imagine so, even the way that he's transported back and forth. Mm-hmm. But also, do you think it's going to affect the decision making in this case, in your experience?
Zero, nothing. I think the U.S. Attorney's Office has an end in mind. I think they want him convicted. They want him sent. They want him to endure they want death. And they've said it from the beginning. So I don't think anything gets in the way of their end game, seeing him executed.
Wow. And real quick, the security put in place now for every hearing for the trial. Can you imagine what the crowd is going to look like on day one of either jury selection or opening statements in a trial? What that scene is going to look like outside the courthouse, inside the courthouse? Are you aware of any additional protocols, any additional resources that would be needed for something like this?
I've seen it. I've been to 1,500 sentencings in my career to support people of the white-collar advice community facing a sentencing hearing primarily for a white-collar crime. But in advance of that, an MS-13 gang member, someone sentenced, even if they've been in custody this entire time, usually at a white-collar crime sentencing, there may be no marshal in the room, or one if the judge wants to take that person into custody. But I've just been to sentencing hearings with violent crimes, 8 or 9 marshals, all on total lockdown, all high alert, people going through metal detectors before they get into the prison. So you can absolutely expect that throughout the entire circus that will be this trial. There is no doubt.
Justin Paperny, thank you so much for jumping on. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you should get your podcasts. You can also check us out on NBC's Peacock. We got